This episode is brought to you by my one and only food and mood journal. This is an 8-week food and mood journal and planner for beginners where you can track how food affects your mood, your hunger, and your energy levels. Are you sick and tired of promising yourself to stop binge eating? Do you feel out of control with food and you just don't know why you overeat? You might have intense cravings leading to self-sabotage. My food and mood journal is the perfect tool to help you tune into your signals that your body sends you. And by tracking what you eat and drink will help you give insight on how food affects your moods. This is an 8-week kickstart to mindful eating to help you identify the triggers that make you want to eat when you're not physically hungry. So this includes a food tracker, a mood and stress tracker, because we know that stress eating can also lead to overeating. We also have an 8-week goals tracker with journal prompts and affirmations. You'll also track things like your water intake and exercise. It makes a beautiful gift for anyone who feels out of control with food. It's an easy to use journal and it will give you just the insights to help you get on the path to stop binge eating, emotional eating, or any other form of overeating. So get your food and mood journal today by clicking the link in the show notes. Thank you. Welcome to Beyond Overeating by Wholesome Lifestyle Project, the Overeating podcast, where I'll be showing up weekly to share with you what I've learned during my binge eating recovery, helpful tools such as yoga, mindfulness, and energy medicine. My name is Stell, and my purpose is to inform and educate so that you can fast track your recovery in healing your relationship with food and finally trust yourself around the peanut butter jar. Join me as I share top tips, my struggles and triumphs to help inspire or just entertain. Remember, there is nothing wrong with you if you can't stop overeating. That's why I'm here to guide you along the way. Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond Overeating podcast by Wholesome Lifestyle Project. My name is Coombe-Heath, binge and emotional eating recovery specialist, and I help women to have a better relationship with food and their bodies. And I am excited to be here today to help you end the war with food so that you can actually move on with your life. And this episode is for you if you have overbearing food thoughts, you feel like you're constantly snacking, you might have cravings that are driving you crazy, and you feel like you are just constantly overeating. You want to stop, but you just have no idea how. You've tried absolutely everything, but you feel like you are always self-sabotaging. So welcome to this episode. If you are new to this episode or new to the podcast, I'd love for you to go and listen to episode 3, where we talk about why you binge eat. And also episode 5 goes into a little bit more details on that. Episode 11 also talks about more about the food zombies that we will be talking about today. So I've let the cat out of the bag. Yes, we will be talking about the food zombies. But I wanted to chat to you today just about something that's really, really exciting, something that has been amazing and has transformed so many people's lives along the way, and that is the Food Zombie Challenge. This Food Zombie Challenge starts next week, November the 8th, and I'd love for you to come and join us on this 30-day challenge where we will be working through everything that is keeping you stuck in overeating. All right, so this is my 6-step formula for women to overcome mindless overeating in the next 30 days. So if that is you, I would love for you to go and check out the show notes for the Food Zombie Challenge. Come and join us. It is going to be just one of the things that will give you so much support and connection for the next 30 days. I am going to be giving you the most practical tools to stop overeating, to finally get control of your binge eating. And the reason why I put a 30-day challenge together is because we often get to build little habits as we go. And if we repeat something and we show up daily for 30 days, a lot can happen. And a lot of amazing traction happens when we spend and dedicate 30 days at a time together. So this is not one of those 30-day shred challenges. No, I am not expecting you to eat only lettuce and run hundreds of kilometers. This is really about giving you practical tools to help you stop overeating, so that you can finally just be in control and just finally actually have some mental space to do other things with your time, and also just, you know, be in a space of food freedom, really. So I really wanted to talk today about, you know, some symptoms that we have as binge eaters and what that looks like and how you can possibly be supported by it. So one of the most common things about those with a disordered relationship with food is the fact that we constantly think about food. It's almost like you feel possessed. And that is how I came up with the word food zombie, because I just felt like I was completely possessed when it came to food. I would black out. My clients feel the same. And I just felt like I would eat without remorse in the moment. So we constantly think about food. Most binge eaters struggle to stop eating at night, because at night a few things happen. Either you are just completely exhausted, can't even think straight about what food to eat or where to be in that moment, but you also probably have some alone time, some time for you to decompress. However, we don't really know how to do that. So what happens is that we actually eat, and this is the time when we can often eat in secret. And it can feel like such a big challenge for us to get out of that rut. You know, get out of nighttime binge eating is just such a deep-seated habit for most of my clients and for myself. So I 100% understand it. I also understand how we become very anxious, that we will actually blow our food choices at any time. But also, I just used to get so anxious when I went to the shops, and it would be such a almost argument in the back of my head, or constantly, am I going to binge? Am I going to buy binge food? Am I not going to buy binge food? If I'm going to buy anything that I binge on, can I just buy something small? If I buy something small, then I'll just have one bite and I'll save the rest for later. And so those are the things that would really get me into such a state of anxiety with binge eating. But also on the other side of the scale, if I was extremely anxious or stressed, food would be there for me. Food would comfort me. And I felt like I was just hopeless with food. I didn't understand how to be with food in a normal way. So I don't know if you can relate to that, but I just felt like I was never normal when it came to food. And one of the things that we feel a lot is that we self-sabotage ourselves all the time. And when we self-sabotage, we get ourselves into the binge guilt cycle. So we eat, we self-sabotage, we feel guilty about it. That guilt, you know, has a lot of negative connotations, a lot of negative beliefs come up for you. There's a lot of negative words about yourself and how, you know, like how terrible you are as a person because you just couldn't stop binge eating. And that really takes us down, you know, like the fact that we can just completely stay in this loop of self-sabotage. And then we also have times where we just completely eat for no reason. It's almost like there's just no habit. It's like out of boredom or loneliness, and it can just take over. Sometimes food is just something that takes over your entire life. So if you've actually been in that situation, I can totally relate with you. And I just wanted to take you through a few things that you can do today and just talk about the food zombies and give you a few little things to help you just move forward. All right, so I have come up with an acronym to overcome most overeating challenges. And because I work with the food zombies, I've decided to make a little acronym for this so that it's easy for you to remember. Uh, and the acronym is zombie, only because it's appropriate, right? So I'll take you through the 6 steps to really start healing your relationship with food. And then if you would like to take this further, you're welcome to join us on the Food Freedom or the Food Zombie Challenge, where we'll be taking you step by step through each of these stages so that you can actually heal your relationship with food a lot faster. Get yourself into healthy habits. There's only 8 weeks left of 2021. How scary is that, right? So if you want a really great kickstart to your December, but also just feel more empowered when it comes to food before you finish off this year, I'd highly suggest you come and join us on the Food Zombie Challenge. So tip number 1 is to zap food thoughts. Now, when it comes to food thoughts, there's a few things that we need to kind of look at. And the first one is actually to clear out your mind at the beginning of the day with all the junk that you've got in there about food. In order for us to do that, we need to make sure that the body is properly my gosh, I'm just like struggling and like fumbling over my words today. That your body is properly nourished. Oh my gosh. So your body needs to be properly nourished in order for you to really start slowing down the food thoughts. 80% of my clients, when we get their nourishment right, they actually stop thinking about food and their binges slow down or actually stop. So it's really important for you to make sure that you get yourself nourished in a way that your body feels comfortable and not threatened. And also that you just kind of have enough energy to actually move through the day. Because when we have enough energy and we feel safe that food is not going to run out, then we can think clearly when it comes to food choices, and it makes just such a big difference. So the next one is overcome nighttime eating. Now, nighttime eating, as I said earlier, is mostly because of the fact that we have not decompressed during the day. There's just absolutely no time for you to actually check in with how you feel. Or sometimes things are just so highly stressed that by the evening, we are just 100% in pretty much in a zombie state where we pretty much living and breathing, but there's no real, we're just so exhausted, right? Like we just spent in a way. So nighttime eating comes from not checking in throughout the day. And this is really quite difficult when we have so many different challenges and so many different things that keep us in high stress, because we focus on the high stress stuff, but we forget that we still, because we're in high stress, we even need to support our bodies even more. So this can be stuff like just checking in with yourself. How am I feeling right now? It doesn't matter, you don't have to solve anything, but just acknowledging how you feel is already such a great step into emotional intelligence. So on the Food Zombie Challenge, I give you 4 beautiful tools to help you overcome nighttime eating. And most of them have to do with processing emotions and being okay with having emotions around. That's the thing, we try and avoid emotions, and usually food is just such a beautiful distraction. So The next one is manage anxiety around food. And I've already talked a little bit about food anxiety and the anxieties that come with, fears that we're going to binge, but also just food fears. So the best way to manage anxiety around food is to make sure that you allow all foods into your diet, eat the rainbow, and give yourself permission to eat your binge foods. We think that if I'm going to be allowed to eat my binge foods, then I'll just never stop and this is all I'll eat. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Your body might do that for a day or two, and then it's like, no, I actually want some green stuff. But we have just been taught from the diet industry that that's not possible. You have to you have to be strict. You have to cut it out because you can't trust yourself with it. So to take away anxiety from food, we need to make peace with food. And we can only do that if we don't have any rules or restrictions around food. The more rules and restrictions we have around relationships, the more that relationship is going to be strained, the more anxiety you will have in that relationship, right? So just food for thought from that perspective. The next thing that I would like for you to think of is self-sabotage. And next on our zombie list is beat self-sabotage. And self-sabotage happens because we are so restrictive, or because we add so much guilt on what we ate, because of the food labels, because of the fear we have around what we might look like if we, God forbid, just have a banana, right? So because we're so restrictive, and because we end up just eating, a lettuce and like lemon juice diet for some of us, often that leads to self-sabotage, and we struggle to get back on track. So when it comes to self-sabotage, we need to make sure that we are feeding our bodies properly, but also we need to build trust in ourselves that we can be normal with food. And that is not easy. That's one of the little things that I help my clients with in the Food Zombie Challenge. I give them a really, really cool tool to actually start building up that trust that they can actually do this, and that they don't have to always be restrictive in order to be normal with food. The next one in our zombie list is ignore food and body rules. This is such an important principle. This is one of the principles from the intuitive eating world, where they are all about challenging old food rules, the food rules that we have learned through our conditioning, through dieting and culture, which is usually like, and it's a food rule when someone adds the word should, or if you add the word shouldn't in front of a food or a sentence with regards to food. So other labels to look for here is I'm being good, I'm being bad, I'm being healthy, I'm eating junk. Food is only food. So take away those labels. And this is so difficult because this is ingrained. It's part of our personality pretty much. So overcoming this is so difficult sometimes. Body rules as well. Body rules is just, it makes me so angry when I see magazines still praising. I recently saw a thing about Katy Perry, showing, having the audacity to show off her post-baby figure. Like, honestly, why is that such a big deal in people's lives? Just let go of the people and the things in your life that make you feel bad about your body. Your body is amazing, and your body is such a gift. This is the only place for you to live in this human experience. And if you are at war with your body, for most of your life, can you imagine what would happen towards the end of your life? Would you feel like you've had a fulfilled life? Or would you feel more in regret because you just spend so much time hating on your body? Now, again, this is not easy. That's why there are tools for this. There's nothing for you to learn. And that's what I've realized through my recovery was I can read all the blogs. I can take all and do all the little cleanses or whatever the case is. But I don't need all that stuff. What I realized is all that stuff is just fluff. It's stuff and it's tools that actually make you feel bad about yourself. We don't need more intellectual stuff. We just need practical ways to actually be in a better space with food. And that's what the Food Zombie Challenge is all about. Next, the last little tip is enjoying food freedom. Now, food freedom is something that I actually had no concept of. I had no idea what food freedom was when I started out, because for me, there was just absolutely so much fear and shame when it came to food. And it really took me a long time to understand and to feel that I actually had a good relationship with food, that I felt free with food. And food freedom is when we actually have space in our life to choose to eat the cookie or not eat the cookie, to mindfully indulge in birthday cake or whatever the case is, but also choose a healthy meal instead. Food freedom is where you actually feel amazing in your body, no matter what it looks like. Food freedom is where you are at peace with food, where you're not thinking about food all the time, where you don't binge at night. That is what food freedom is, and that is what I will be sharing with you in the Food Zombie Challenge. If you would like to come and join us, I'd love for you to hop on to and sign up. I will put the links in the show notes. Come and join us, because this is going to be such an amazing, amazing space for you to learn and grow. So thank you so much for joining me today on this episode. I look forward to chatting with you again next week, where we will be talking more about food and body issues. I can't wait to see you in that episode. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today, and don't forget to share this with all your friends. You can do this by adding this to your Instagram story and tagging me at Wholesome Lifestyle Project, or by simply telling them about it. If you could rate and review on whatever platform you are listening, this will go a long way in helping me get this podcast out there, so that I can share my message and help as many women out there struggling with food issues as I can. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram at Wholesome Lifestyle Project, or connect with me on LinkedIn. My name's Coombe-Heath, and that's where you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.